When it comes to praying for another, you can't do it, but it might not have the effect. You cannot pray for another. You can only wish that their will be done according to their wish. You can only help them allow it into them. But no, you cannot stand in the way of their judgment, for you too must be judged. When a disciple asked Jesus to teach them how to pray, he did exactly that. Teach, so that they could be empowered to pray for themselves and to commune with their higher self. He would have just said, "Don't worry, my boys, I'm here for you." He also talks about making them fishers of men. Prayer does not mean to shout and to scream about, "Hey, if your phone dials a number, does it also ring or announce?" No, it doesn't. It does it quietly, perfectly, and the signal reaches to the other end of the call. Try to imagine how many calls are being made right now. Now try to imagine seeing all these signals, radio waves, Bluetooth, infrared, Wi-Fi, and all other frequencies in the spectrum of invisible light and sound. I dare you, if you could see this, then you could be standing in front of a person and you wouldn't see them. They will be all covered in this wild smoke of bouncing signals. The noise that we don't hear with our bare ears, the light that we don't see with our naked eyes. Matthew 6:6. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Remember, the waves are also unseen, vibrations are unseen, and that's how we communicate, just like the phones do. Now back to the phone and why you shouldn't ask people to pray for you. Phones cannot make calls on behalf of another phone. Well, at least in this 3D world, I know what some of you are thinking, that miracles do happen, that this is different from ourselves. Prayer for others is just goodwill, but they should make the dial themselves. In fact, they already do, because prayer happens all the time. We always dial every time, every minute, every second, and every hour of the day and night, awake or asleep, just like your phone keeps checking status all day and all night. Otherwise we would go to sleep and never to wake up. Jesus always told people this: your faith has healed you, or your faith has made you well. He talks about their own dial from within them. We can only activate the process of calling, but the phone will have to dial through its process. Audible prayers are just meant for our selfish consumption, like putting a phone on speaker just so that others can be comfortable that you are communicating their will. Praying for others might seem more of putting a hex on them than a blessing. It's like hacking someone's phone. You put your innermost intention into them, and this may end up either destructive or constructive. Just like how witchcraft works. Now, I don't want to go into that for now, but all I can say is that it has something to do with dialing frequencies. Mark 1:35. And in the morning, a great while before the day, he rose and went out to a lonely place, and there he prayed. Just like we move to a clear place where there is network and less noise to make a phone call. I'm not against what others believe, but this is far from what some practices call speaking in tongues. Mark 6:46. And after he had taken leave of them, he went up to the mountain to pray. Luke 6:12. In these days he went into the hill to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. Luke 9:18. Now it happened that as he was praying alone, the disciples were with him, and he asked them, "Who do the people say that I am?" Luke 6:29. Now about 8 days after this saying, he took with him Peter, John, and James, and went up to the mountains to pray. Matthew 6:5-6. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by men. Go to the mountains, seek clarity, find your network, and dial. Your call is answered.